Chapter 41:20. Thank you, Godfather. Tianxi's eyes lit up when he saw Chilean Bull. The shape of Chilean Bull had changed slightly. Its body looked domineering and elegant. It was only half a meter in size and looked more like a pet. However, Tianxi also knew that Chilean Bull was definitely not weak. Tianxi had been living with Wang Xian for the past 100 years. Although he did not know Wang Xian's exact strength, but he could guess that Wang Xian's strength was definitely not simple. For example, Wang Xian could seal the wood attribute energy in his body. Even his grandfather would not be able to detect it. Father, what's Wang Xian's identity? Is there any problem with him being Tianxi's godfather? Tianxi's birthday party was going on. Not far away. One of Muri Yin-er's brothers asked his father softly when he saw that Tianxi and Wang Xian were on good terms. I don't know his exact identity, but Tianxi is indeed very close to him. He's closer than your sister. The middle-aged man took a glance at Wang Xian and shook his head. He has been treating Tianxi well for the past 100 years and has given him some guidance. It's not a bad thing for now. But he seems to be a little antisocial. He has been recuperating in his room. His internal injuries are very serious. A few young men nodded their heads. They walked over and chatted with Wang Xian for a while. Wang Xian responded politely. Tianxi's birthday passed quickly. Within a few days, Tianxi entered the college to study. Muri Yin-er lived in the center of the Muri tribe. The academy was also located in the center of the city. Although Tianxi went to school every day, he would come back every day. After Tianxi came back, he often discussed the college with Wang Xian and his mother. As time passed, Wang Xian and Muri Yin-er also became familiar with each other. Wang Xian, who had been staying in the courtyard, was also called out by Tianxi to have a meal with his mother. Time passed quickly. 100,000 years passed in the blink of an eye. I have been in seclusion for tens of thousands of years. The Tai Chi Dragon Board has devoured all the resources and corpse of that corpse. But I still haven't broken through. Wang Xian looked at the Tai Chi Dragon Board in front of him with a helpless expression. The difficulty of breaking through the Tai Chi Dragon Board was beyond Wang Xian's imagination. According to his estimation, he should be able to break through after absorbing the corpse of a creation realm expert of Sky Yuan and absorbing so much dark attribute energy and treasures. But he still couldn't break through. The reason I was able to break through the 5-elemental grindstone so easily last time might have something to do with the progenitor tree. The 5-elemental grindstone contains the wood attribute and can absorb the progenitor tree's energy. Basically, it can be said that the 5 elements grindstone and the progenitor tree grew together. Wang Xian thought to himself. The 5 elements grindstone and the progenitor tree had grown together, and the progenitor tree, as a heaven origin fortune treasure, definitely had a special energy. Only after being nurtured by this energy for a long time did the shackles of the great grind of 5 elements lessen greatly. However, the Taiji Dragon Coil would not work. Even after absorbing so many treasures, Wang Xian could still feel that there was a threshold blocking him. This threshold was not easy to break. He might need more resources and treasures. Shaking his head, Wang Xian sensed his own body. After 100,000 years, his injuries had recovered a little. Now, he could unleash the strength of a first-order universe sovereign. It would take at least 100 million years for him to fully recover. This was under the condition that Wang Xian had absorbed a large number of treasures. Send a message to Tianxi. When Wang Xian went into seclusion 10,000 years ago, he told Tianxi about it. On the communication device, Tianxi had sent him a lot of messages. He replied. Speaking of which, Tianxi could be considered as his biological son. Buzz buzz. Soon, Tianxi sent a message. Wang Xian saw it and replied immediately. Mr. Wang Xian, I heard from Tianxi that you have ended your seclusion. Before long, Muri Yin-er's voice came from outside. Wang Xian got up and opened the door. Yes, I just ended it. Wang Xian smiled and nodded to Muri Yin-er. After which, he looked at the message on the communication device. Tianxi asked us to have a meal at the snow house. Let's go. He continued. How long will it take for Mr. Wang's yarn to fully recover from your injuries? Muri Yin nodded and asked with concern. To fully recover, I will need at least 100 million years. The previous injuries were very serious. Wang Xian answered honestly. 100 million years to recover from your injuries. It seems like Mr. Wang Xian is very strong. You should have reached the universe sovereign realm. Muri Yin said with slight surprise. Yes, I have. Wang Xian nodded with a smile. That's amazing. Mr. Wang Xian doesn't look very old. Muri Yin said in surprise. Those who could reach the universe sovereign realm were considered experts in the Six Paths universe. His father had the strength of a fifth-order universe ruler. In the Muley tribe, he was a deacon-level character. The strongest expert in the Muri tribe was only an eighth-order universe sovereign. He's not young anymore. I haven't seen Tian Ci for 10,000 years. I wonder how he has changed. Wang Xian and Muri Yin chatted as they flew out. Soon, they arrived at the flourishing district of the Muri tribe. The streets were bustling with people and shops lined both sides. Mother, godfather. When they arrived at the Snowflake Tower, the extraordinarily handsome Tianci saw them and immediately shouted at them. Wang Xian looked over. Compared to 10,000 years ago, Tianci's appearance had not changed much. However, his strength had greatly surpassed the Void God Emperor level. Of course, this was the strength of the wood attribute. As for his water attribute strength, it was only at the first order immortal God King realm. Even in the Muley tribe, this realm was still top-notch. Beside him, Qilin Bull laid there. When he saw Wang Xian, he immediately transmitted a message to him. You've improved very quickly. Let's spar after dinner. Wang Xian looked at Tian Ci and said with a smile. Sure, godfather. I'm very strong now. No one in our elementary school is a match for me now. Tian Ci lifted his head slightly and said proudly. Tian Ci, don't be too proud. Muri Yin walked over and said to him. She then turned to Wang Xian and said, teach this brat a lesson later. Don't let him get arrogant. Don't, Mom. Godfather will really make me suffer. When Tianci heard this, he quickly shouted. This made Wang Xian and Muri Yin laugh. Godfather, you've been in seclusion for too long. You won't be going into seclusion again, right? Tianci asked as he moved a chair out for Wang Xian and Muri Yin to sit down. Yeah, I won't be going into seclusion again. Chapter 41:21. The reason why he had secluded himself for 10,000 years was because he thought that the Tai Chi Dragon Board might be able to achieve a breakthrough. Unfortunately, he didn't succeed. This made him feel very helpless. In the following days, he would not go into seclusion again under normal circumstances. By the way, I heard that the tribe is going to establish an elite team of the Muley tribe. A group of elites of each age group will be selected and trained with all their strength. Tianci, did your school inform us? Muri Yin asked Tianci. Mom, the school has already notified me. I'm going to enter the intermediate school immediately. Once I'm there, I'll have access to resources that far surpass others. Tianci nodded. From now on, Tianci, you must cultivate well and strive to become a peak expert in our Six Paths universe. Muri Yin said to him. By now, all living beings in the Six Paths universe knew about the cataclysm. Now, all the tribes were preparing for the cataclysm, pooling resources to nurture experts. It was all for the sake of a higher chance of survival when the cataclysm arrived. Don't worry, Mom, I will. Tianci nodded and suddenly asked, Oh right, Mom, where's my grandpa? I haven't seen him in a long time. Is he in seclusion as well? No, your grandfather followed the other experts of the tribe to seek and kill the invaders from other universes. Muri Yin said to him. Invaders from other universes? Why are the other universes invading us? Tianci asked curiously. Mother doesn't know much about this. I heard from your grandfather that because a powerful treasure was born in our cosmos, experts from other cosmos have come to snatch it. The three lords in our cosmos are also searching for that treasure. Speaking of which, Tianci, when you were born, our universe was enveloped by the primordial violet qi. It is said that it was on that day that that powerful treasure was born. Mu Li Yin said to him with a smile. This was the first time Tianzi heard his mother say this to him. He was taken aback and looked at Wang Xian with astonishment. Wang Xian smiled and did not say anything. Godfather, do you know something? He couldn't help but transmit his voice to Wang Xian. You don't need to know now. Just live a good life. Wang Xian did not answer him. Seeing that Wang Xian did not reply, Tianzi had no other choice. However, he had some guesses in his heart. After a meal, Wang Xian and the rest went to a sparring arena. Wang Xian gave some pointers on Tianzi's attacking techniques. After that, the three of them returned home. Time passed quickly again. 100,000 years, 1 million years, 10 million years, buzz. On this day, Wang Xian, who was recuperating from his injuries, suddenly felt a majestic vitality coming from his body. A surge of wood-attributed energy rushed into his body. This energy quickly healed the injuries in his body. Originally, it would have taken him 80 to 90 million years to recover, but now, he was recovering at a terrifying speed. What's the situation? Wang Xian was taken aback by the sudden turn of events and widened his eyes. He could feel the injuries in his body rapidly healing. This healing energy originated from the progenitor tree. He focused his attention on the progenitor tree. When he sensed the progenitor tree, his face lit up with joy. At this moment, the progenitor tree's branches and leaves reached the sky. Fruits were growing on it. There was the soul-returning embryo fruit, the endless wood embryo fruit, and the eternal embryo fruit. There was also the nirvana thunder embryo fruit. The fruits grew one by one. Each branch contained a variety of energy. In addition, on the main trunk of the progenitor tree, there was an eye-catching branch. On top of this branch, there were more than 10 branches. These branches possessed a powerful force. They were dazzling and eye-catching on the entire progenitor tree. Even the densely packed branches and fruits in the surroundings could not conceal the sharpness of this branch. These did not surprise Wang Xian. What shocked him the most was that on the top branch of the progenitor tree, fruits were starting to form. Using his mind to sense, there were more than 20 fruits. Each fruit was the size of a palm. However, these fruits had clearly just grown and had not ripened yet. The progenitor tree has passed the growth phase and reached the mature phase. Seeing that the main body of the progenitor tree was bearing fruits, Wang Xian was pleasantly surprised. Once the progenitor tree bore fruits and the fruits ripened, it would mean that the progenitor tree had entered the mature phase. Entering the peak phase. The might of the Heaven Yuan creation treasure would also be fully unleashed. Now, the might of the progenitor tree is showing. Wang Xian's eyes were shining. Yes, at this moment, he could already sense some changes. Among them, the biggest change was his injuries. Currently, Wang Xian's recovery ability had reached a terrifying level. Now, if he were to suffer from the same serious injuries as the previous time, he would not need any treasures. He would not need hundreds of millions of years. As long as he recovered, he would be able to fully recover in tens of thousands of years. This regenerative ability was absolutely terrifying. One should know that Wang Xian's previous injuries were extremely serious. Now, Wang Xian's vitality was comparable to that of the past. If Wang Xian did not defend himself and attacked him 10 times with full force, he would only be able to kill him completely. But now, he would need to attack with full force for at least 20 times. His powerful recovery ability allowed him to recover quickly after suffering such a huge attack. Now, Wang Xian could rely on this recovery ability to fight against 2 Creation Realm experts who had just entered Heaven Yuan Creation Realm. This was because Wang Xian could totally exchange injuries for injuries in a battle. 2 Creation Realm experts who had just entered Heaven Yuan Creation Realm could not kill him. In fact, if they were to fight to the death with Wang Xian, it was hard to say who would survive. All this was under the condition that Wang Xian did not use the 5 elements grindstone. If he used the 5 elements grindstone, the outcome would be even worse. Impressive, really impressive. The progenitor tree is about to enter the mature stage and I have already gained so many benefits. When the progenitor tree completely enters the mature stage, won't I be comparable to a creation realm expert? The progenitor tree is only a creation treasure of Heaven Yuan with a supportive nature. What about Tianxi's offensive creation treasure? Does it mean that he can fight against 2 control-level serendipity divine beings when he's just reached the serendipity stage? If that's the case, it'll be too terrifying. Wang Xian exclaimed in his heart. This possibility was very high. Even if he could not fight against 2 creation realm experts, it shouldn't be a problem to fight against 1 creation realm expert and 1 or 2 creation realm expert. It's a good thing that my injuries have recovered. At least I can handle any special situations. The next step is to nurture Tianxi's growth. I'm really looking forward to the growth of the creation treasure of Heaven Yuan in his body, Wang Xian thought to himself. Chapter 41:22. The advancement of the progenitor tree was a pleasant surprise to Wang Xian. Perhaps it was because of the heaven origin creation within Tianxi's body, or perhaps it was because the progenitor tree had absorbed enough energy. The progenitor tree was strengthened, and its injuries were healed. His strength increased. Wang Xian's current strength was already terrifying. With Wang Xian and the 5 elements grindstone, he could contend with existences at the control level. With the addition of the Qilin balls, their strength would be even greater. I can relax a little from now on. Wang Xian stretched his back and revealed a faint smile. He didn't have to constantly recover from his injuries. Wang Xian came out of the room and looked around. Mr. Wang Xian, why are you here all of a sudden today? At this time, Muri Yin saw Wang Xian and asked with a smile. Although Wang Xian had been staying here, he had not stepped out of his room for a long time. Muri Yin asked curiously when she saw Wang Xian suddenly coming out today. My body is fine now. Thank you for taking care of me, Miss Muri Yin Wang Xian thanked her. Mr. Wang Xian, you're treating me like an outsider. You're Tianxi's adoptive father. Naturally, we're relatives. Moreover, I didn't take care of him much during this period. Muri Yin shook her head. Miss Muri Yin I won't disturb you anymore. I'm going to live outside. Wang Xian said to Muri Yin When Mu Li Yin heard him, she was slightly taken aback. Mr. Wang Xian, are you going to stay outside? It's all right, you can stay here. Moreover, if Tianxi comes, we can still have a meal together. Haha, thank you, Miss Muri Yin but it's a little inconvenient to live here. Wang Xian shook his head. It was indeed somewhat inconvenient to live here. Does Mr. Wang Xian have a place to stay? Muri Yin looked at him and asked. I plan to buy a house near the Heaven's Gift Academy and live there. When Heaven's Gift is fully grown, I plan to go somewhere else. Wang Xian answered. Live next to the academy? You're not familiar with this place. Do you want me to help you find a house? Muri Yin said to him. Sure, thank you, Miss Muri Yin Wang Xian nodded his head. It's no trouble at all. You don't have to stand on ceremony with me. Muri Yin shook her head. Let's go. I'm familiar with that place. I'll find someone to ask for you. Wang Xian nodded his head and followed Muri Yin out. The location of the Heaven's Gift Academy was not too far from here. If they were to fly, it would only take about half an hour. My friend said that there are houses for rent here. Mu Li Yin looked at the communication device and said to Wang Xian. All right. Wang Xian nodded his head and continued walking ahead with her. It was located in a bustling area around the Muley Tribes College. There were all kinds of shops here. However, the upper floors of the shop were habitable. In short, this place was not as suitable as Muri Yin-er's room. There were many pedestrians around. The two of them came to the front of a shop. What do you think of this house? It's all shops here, and above the shops are residences. The environment isn't as good as mine, but it's more prosperous and it's very close to the academy. This shop is for rent. It's 500 square meters and has a height of 1,000 meters. You can decorate it yourself. Muri Yin introduced a house to Wang Xian. Sure. Wang Xian looked at the place and nodded his head. When the time came, he would just have to make some arrangements in the house and set up some arrays. As for the location, he wasn't too concerned. All right. The shop owner will be here soon. Let's wait for a while. Muri Yin said. Hey, isn't this Muri Yin? Oh, this one. Hihi, could he be the father of your child? At this moment, a teasing voice was heard. The sudden words stunned Wang Xian and Muri Yin. You're indeed the heaven's daughter of the Muli tribe. You have a son at such a young age. Haha, you're ahead of all of us. Another teasing voice was heard. From the right, 5 to 6 girls walked over. They were holding weapons in their hands and lifting their heads slightly. They were sizing up Muri Yin and Wang Xian. Their faces were filled with sarcasm. Ignore him. Muri Yin frowned when she saw them and whispered to Wang Xian. She completely ignored the 5 to 6 girls. TSK, Muri Yin have you found the father of your child, or are you finding a stepfather for your child? You're making someone else a father. Seeing Muri Yin ignoring them, the girls weren't bothered. They were still mocking her and made shrill voices. You're talking too much nonsense. Wang Xian looked at them. All of them were at the First Order Universe Venerable Realm. As he looked at them, an invisible pressure shrouded them. In an instant, the girls turned pale and their faces were covered in cold sweat. Wang Xian looked at them again and retracted his gaze. The pressure on them disappeared instantly. Great. Not bad, Muri Yin. When the girls felt the pressure disappear, their expressions changed drastically. They stared at Muri Yin and gritted their teeth. Following which, they left with sullen faces. Clearly, the pressure that Wang Xian exuded with a single gaze had terrified them. They knew that Wang Xian was very, very strong. This made them jealous. Thank you. At the side, Muri Yin was slightly taken aback by the scene. She looked at Wang Xian in astonishment and hesitated for a moment. What's your level of strength? You're so strong. I don't think you're an ordinary universe lord. Muri Yin was at the Second Order Universe Venerable Realm. In fact, Muri Yin was considered very young in the Muri tribe. Those of the same generation as her had never married or had children. In fact, it would be normal for those of her generation to marry and have children after a few 100 million years. She was a complete accident. Wang Xian had said that he had reached the Universe Lord realm. However, she felt that Wang Xian's strength wasn't that of an ordinary Universe Lord. 7th Order Universe Lord. Not bad. It's more than enough to teach Tianzi, Wang Xian replied with a smile. Hearing Wang Xian's strength, Muri Yin opened her mouth in shock. In the entire Muri tribe, a Universe Lord was considered a core expert and had considerable privileges in the tribe. However, the strongest expert in the tribe was only at the 8th Order Universe Lord realm. Her father was only at the 5th Order Universe Lord realm. This young man she had saved was actually a 7th Order Universe Lord. She couldn't believe it. Tianzi was very fortunate to have such a strong master teaching him with all his heart. Chapter 41-23, Thank you. Muri Yin's eyes flickered as she looked at Wang Xian. She could not help but thank him. Wang Xian's strength had exceeded her expectations. This was unbelievable. Wang Xian's strength was considered top-notch in the Muri tribe. You don't have to thank me. You saved my life. Compared to that, what I did was just a small matter. Wang Xian smiled and shook his head. It's Tianzi's luck that you can teach him. No wonder his strength improved so quickly. It's all because of your help, Muri Yin said gratefully. When Tianzi first started cultivating, he was very untalented. Later on, for some unknown reason, his strength improved by leaps and bounds. She was happy for a long time. Now, it seemed that Wang Xian might have helped him in the dark. With Wang Xian's strength, helping Tianzi to cultivate day and night would increase his strength by a lot. A 7th Order Sovereign Realm expert continued to guide them. In the entire Muli tribe, there wasn't a second person who received such treatment. I didn't help much. Wang Xian knew she had misunderstood and shook his head. Muri Yin smiled. Miss Muri Yin, are you looking to rent a house? Before Muri Yin could reply, an old man walked over and asked. The topic changed. Next, Wang Xian bought the entire shop. In the Six Paths universe, Wang Xian had gotten his hands on some universal currency. Moreover, Under normal circumstances, currencies were resources. As long as the value was similar, the other party would agree. Thank you, Miss Muri Yin-er. Let me treat you to a meal, Wang Xian said to Muri Yin-er. Sure. Muri Yin-er nodded and the two of them went for a meal. Wang Xian moved to this place and had a leisurely life. Tianzi would often come over and call his mother. The three of them would have a meal together. Tianzi would talk about his school affairs. It was interesting. Time passed quickly. Tens of millions of years had passed. Tianzi grew from a child to a big boy. The Heaven Yuan creation treasure in his body was also improving rapidly. During this period, Wang Xian also returned to the Dragon Palace to stay for some time. With An Lai around, it was very convenient for him to go back and forth. Mom, Godfather, tomorrow our academy will hold a trial. After the trial, the top 10 will be chosen to participate in the 6 Daos tournament. This time, I will definitely get into the top 10. Then, I will shine in the 6 Realms tournament. When that time comes, I will let everyone know that my mother has a good son like me. 90 million years passed. For the Muley tribe, a child had to stay in the academy for at least 200 million years. For the powerful cultivators who had a lifespan of more than 30 billion years, 200 million years in the academy was not much. Okay. Mom doesn't ask you to get a name. I just want you to be safe. Muri Yin-er looked at Tianzi and said with a smile. That won't do. I want to get a good ranking. I have to protect you in the future. Tianzi shook his head and said with determination, the dean said that the cataclysm will come in a few billion years. When the time comes, there will be a great war. It will be difficult for the weak to survive. I must be strong enough to protect my mother. Good. I'm very happy to hear that. Muri Yin-er nodded happily. When will the 6 Realms tournament be held? Wang Xian asked Tianzi. The dean said that it will start 10 million years after our training. Tianzi looked at Wang Xian and said, Godfather, my cultivation speed has slowed down a lot. I was still thinking of getting the championship, but it seems like it will be a little difficult. Currently, Tianzi had reached the level of a third-order universe venerable in the water attribute cultivation. In the Muley tribe, he was a top-notch supreme talent. Currently, Tianzi was the pillar of his generation. Even those who were much older than him were not as strong as him. The Muley tribe was the most outstanding existence in the past few billion years. He was highly regarded by the experts in the academy. As for the 6 Realms tournament, it was jointly organized by 2 major tribes in the 6 Realms universe. These 2 great tribes were the 2 tribes that had Heaven Yuan creation realm experts. The 6 Realms tournament this time. To put it bluntly, it was similar to the 9-source universe sword and the sorcerer universe. They were all preparing for the arrival of the cataclysm. They would use the remaining time to nurture another batch of top-notch experts to deal with the arrival of the cataclysm. If they could get a good ranking in the 6 Realms tournament, they would be able to enter the top-notch treasured lands in the 6 Realms universe. To any participant, it was a great honor to be able to obtain a ranking. All the supreme talents from the tribes in the 6 Realms universe would participate. As for Tianzi, his water attribute cultivation had reached the third-order universe venerable realm. His wood attribute cultivation was even more terrifying. Now, he had broken through to the third-order universe sovereign realm. It was terrifying to reach such a level in less than 100 million years. Of course, this was all because of the creation treasure of Tian Yuan. That's normal. Your cultivation will get slower and slower. Upon hearing him, Wang Xian replied with a smile. He had forced himself to cultivate the water attribute. Because of the wood attribute, his cultivation speed was faster. But as the water attribute cultivation got higher, his cultivation speed would get slower and slower. In the end, he would fall behind others. This was normal. The water attribute was just a cover-up. But Wang Xian wanted Tianzi to have a complete life, a complete childhood and experience. That's enough, Tianzi. Don't tire yourself out. Muri Yin-er, who was beside him, reminded him happily. She was also very happy for her outstanding son. A mother's status depended on her son. It was the same in the Muley tribe. The three of them chatted as they ate. On the second day, Tianci participated in the school's training. The instructors of the academy brought them to a training ground to let them train and fight elemental beast. Wang Xian was not too concerned about it. The Qilin Bull had always been by Tianci's side or hidden in his storage space. Even if there was danger, the Qilin Bull would still be around. Saint Father, there is still no news. It has been 100 million years. Could it be that the treasure has been obtained by someone? Water source, somewhere in the Whirlpool Sea. In this area, there was a torrential downpour. On the surface of the sea, there were terrifying whirlpools. Above one of the whirlpools, two figures stood in front of an old man and reported, "More than 80 million years ago, the creation treasure of Tian Yuan was born. This creation treasure of Tian Yuan has a strong concealment ability, making it hard to be discovered. In addition, there are various detection treasures outside the Six Paths universe. Once someone obtains it and brings it out, they will be discovered immediately. As for the Six Paths universe, they are still searching for the creation treasure of Tian Yuan. The possibility of them getting it is not high," the old man said plainly. Chapter 41-24, Lord Holy Father, we've been searching for 80 million years. The Six Paths universe has formed a team of experts, and many of our experts have been killed by them. We can't go on like this. Two figures knelt respectfully in front of an old man in the Whirlpool Sea and continued reporting. We'll search for another 100 million years. If we don't find anything in 100 million years, we'll leave. The old man stood in the air and said calmly, "Yes." The two people kneeling on the ground didn't dare to resist and immediately answered, "Search carefully. If I find out that half of you are still alive after 100 million years, I'll interrogate the two of you. If you can find any information about the treasure, I won't let anything happen to you in the upcoming Cataclysm War." The old man suddenly looked at them and said calmly. His words caused the two people kneeling on the ground to tremble violently, and a look of horror appeared on their faces. The old man's gaze shifted away from them and he flew into the distance. The two people kneeling on the ground looked at each other with extremely ugly expressions on their faces. The Holy Father had given his orders, and they knew that they had no other choice. In the next 100 million years, they would have to search seriously. They would have to search wantonly. They couldn't care less about the sacrifices. Otherwise, if they didn't search wantonly, if they didn't find the treasure, and if half of them were killed by the experts of the Six Paths universe, they would be the ones to die. They didn't doubt that the Holy Father would destroy them in the end. The two figures slowly stood up and flew into the distance. In front of them, the Holy Father scanned the surroundings. When he sensed energy fluctuations in front of him, he slowly stretched out his hands. A luxurious light attribute robe covered his body, completely concealing his figure. "Captain Tianci, we'll be depending on you to hunt the exploding turtle this time. All right, let's try our best not to suffer any casualties this time." In front of them, Tianci and a dozen students from the Muley tribe were flying rapidly. As the most outstanding disciple of the Muley tribe, Tianci exuded a strong sense of confidence. He had a handsome face and a comfortable smile on his body. The dozen students around him clearly regarded him as the leader. 100 kilometers in front of them, the Holy Father glanced at Tianci and the others. Soon, the distance between them was only a dozen kilometers, and it was still closing. Tianci and the other students clearly didn't see or sense the presence of the Holy Father. They continued flying forward. As they got closer, the Qilin Bull lying inside the God-given space item suddenly opened its eyes. That single eye looked out. He saw a figure not far away, his eyes sparkling. In order to avoid being discovered, the Qilin Bull didn't look too long and shifted its gaze. He hesitated for a moment before taking out his communication device and sending a message to Wang Xian. "Boss, we've just encountered a light attribute divine origin creation realm expert. We haven't pulled away from him yet." After the Qilin Bull sent the message, it waited quietly. He did not inform Tianci and did not let Tianci and the rest leave. This was because the divine origin creation realm expert in front of him was too close. If he told them, it would attract the attention of the divine origin creation realm expert. Tianzi had a heaven origin fortune treasure in his body, but even a heaven origin fortune treasure expert would not be able to discover what was going on in his body unless he was dozens of meters away. Therefore, the Qilin Bull did not act rashly. According to the direction and position they are flying in, Tianzi and the others will be 4,000 to 5,000 meters away from that old guy. They shouldn't be discovered. The Qilin Bull looked ahead and calculated in his heart. The Qilin Ox now possessed a branch of the heaven origin fortune treasure in Tianzi's body. In terms of concealment, it was extremely powerful. Similarly, only a divine origin creation realm expert who was dozens of meters away from him would be able to discover him. As long as he didn't stare at the other party, he wouldn't be discovered even if the other party didn't have a heaven's fortune grade treasure. More and more heaven origin fortune realm experts have entered the Six Paths universe. Where is the heaven origin fortune treasure? The probability of me obtaining the treasure is a little low. However, even if there's only a 1 in 10,000 chance, I can't give up and search here for another 100 million years. Otherwise, I really can't accept it. The Holy Father walked in the air, muttering to himself. He was a little displeased. He swept his gaze across the surroundings, and once again glanced at a spot not far away from him. Over there, Tianzi and a dozen other students were constantly discussing and formulating plans for the upcoming training. Noisy. When the Holy Father heard this, he waved his arm in frustration. An invisible energy shrouded Tianzi and the rest. Damn. At the same time, a few thousand meters to the right, the Qilin Bull sensed the sudden attack from the light attribute heaven origin creation realm expert, and his expression changed. Damn it. This guy obviously didn't sense Tianzi or me. He's trying to kill Tianzi and the rest. The Qilin Bull's eyes were cold as he instantly sent a message to Wang Xian. Wang. In the next instant, the Qilin Bull appeared beside Tianzi. A surge of energy surged from his body. The energy knocked the dozen students beside Tianzi unconscious. A surge of energy shrouded them and kept them. At the same time, a surge of energy shrouded Tianzi. Boom. Soon after, a surge of energy landed on the defensive barrier. The sudden change, the sudden appearance and attack of the Qilin Bull had frozen the smile on Tianzi's face. He looked at the Qilin Bull in shock. An expert wants to kill all of you. The Qilin Bull spoke to the shocked Tianzi. Little Bull, you can speak. Tianzi looked at the Qilin Bull, who suddenly spoke, and was shocked. This was a pet that his godfather gave him on his first birthday. At that time, his godfather told him that it was his little brother, and that he would follow him to ensure his safety. Hundreds of millions of years had passed. Other than looking a little cute, the Qilin Bull had not shown any difference. Now, it suddenly attacked and even spoke human language. This shocked Tianzi greatly. Let's leave this place immediately. The Qilin Bull was speechless at the way Tianzi addressed him. However, this wasn't the time to chat with Tianzi. The other party had not discovered the situation within Tianzi's body. He had to leave this place immediately and get rid of him. Let's go. As the Qilin Bull spoke, it enlarged to a height of about 10 meters, and Tianzi sat on it. Subsequently, the Qilin Bull flew towards the back rapidly. Chapter 41-25. Her? The Holy Father casually waved his hand and ignored the dozen youths. From his point of view, he had merely waved his hand and turned a dozen noisy ants into ashes. So what if he was in a bad mood and crushed a few ants to death? However, when he saw that his attack was blocked, when he saw the sudden appearance of the beast-like expert, he was shocked. That beast expert is a divine Yuan creation realm expert. The energy he uses is not from the Six Paths universe. What's going on? The Holy Father's eyes narrowed. It's a little strange. It's very strange. Why would a divine origin creation expert follow a mere universe supremacy level kid and protect him all this time? Impossible. Why would a divine Yuan creation realm expert secretly protect a Six Paths universe kid and let him sit on his body? There's definitely something wrong. His eyes flickered and his mind spun rapidly. Light shrouds the earth. Holy light watches over the earth. The Holy Father did not hesitate either. With a wave of his hand, a staff appeared in his hand. His eyes glowed with a bright light. The energy in his eyes was injected into his hair. A holy light shrouded the area in front of him. Its speed was much faster than that of the Chilean bull. Scram! The Chilean bull growled when he saw the holy light shrouding them. On his scales, devil-like symbols rose into the sky. They formed a blood-red canopy. The canopy covered the sky behind them. Buzz! Buzz! The light collided with the canopy and a buzzing sound could be heard continuously. Condense! The Holy Father moved and chased after the Chilean bull while stepping on the holy light. At the same time, the holy light above him condensed into a gigantic eye of holy light. The gigantic eye of holy light split into countless pupils. The pupils shrouded the Chilean bull from all directions like countless moths flying towards a flame. Eye of evil, flower of the eye. The Chilean bull sensed the situation behind him and his expression changed. His only eye also emitted energy. Behind him, an illusory eye condensed. It floated in the sky. In the middle of the eye, there was a gorgeous flower. The strange and demonic pupils emitted a strange light. Fortune of heaven origin, you are a fortune of heaven origin expert, yet you are protecting a universe venerable from the six paths universe? When the Holy Father saw the horrifying attack of the Chilean bull, his expression changed and turned solemn. His own strength was that of a veteran divine origin creation realm expert. Beginner level, veteran heavenly primordial fortune. In other words, he could fight against two experts who had just stepped into the divine essence creation realm. However, according to his senses, the Chilean bull's power was not much weaker than his. Although the Chilean bull had just stepped into the Sky Yuan fortune realm not long ago, however, he had absorbed all the memories and energy of the Aja heavenly demon god. The Aga Sky demon god was a veteran divine essence creation realm expert. I don't need you to meddle in my affairs. I'm warning you, get lost immediately. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. The Chilean bull glanced at the Holy Father and said with a murderous look, to be able to make a heavenly origin creation realm cultivator willingly stay by a brat's side? Then, the Holy Father did not care about the Chilean bull's majesty. His eyes slowly emitted a blazing glow. A heavenly origin creation realm expert protecting a brat from the six paths universe. This was definitely strange. What kind of situation could make a heavenly origin creation realm expert do such a thing? Only when it involved a huge treasure. It was obvious. The heavenly origin creation realm treasure of the six paths universe. Light is everywhere. The Holy Father's body immediately emitted a burst of light that enveloped the entire heaven and earth. It instantly enveloped the Chilean bull. The Chilean bull saw the violent energy surging from its body, supporting the surrounding area. Heavenly origin creation realm. This little bull is actually a heavenly origin creation realm existence. At the same time, Tianci, who was on the Chilean bull, was completely dumbfounded. He could feel the terrifying aura from the Chilean bull and the Holy Father in front of him. When he heard their words, his heart was in turmoil. What kind of existence was the heavenly origin creation realm? He knew this. It was a supreme existence. It was the pinnacle existence in the entire Six Paths universe. According to the Dean of the Academy, there were three supreme beings in the Six Paths universe. These three lords were the strongest experts in the Six Paths universe. And these three beings were at the heavenly origin creation realm. And now, this little bull who had been with him for nearly 100 million years and had never fought or spoken to him was actually a heavenly origin creation realm. How could he dare to believe this? This was simply too shocking. If this little bull was a heavenly origin creation realm expert, then wouldn't his godfather be one too? This little bull was his godfather's little brother. How is this possible? That little guy actually has a heavenly origin creation realm treasure in his body. The heavenly origin creation realm treasure of the Six Paths universe is actually in his body. At this moment, a slightly crazed voice came from the front. The Holy Father's eyes were fixed on Tianci, his eyes filled with greed, passion, and madness. The heavenly origin creation realm treasure. The heavenly origin creation realm treasure was actually right in front of him. The treasure that he had been searching for 100 million years. He had actually discovered it. Feeling the Holy Father's gaze, Tianzi was shocked and a wave of fear and panic surged into his heart. Facing the gaze of a heavenly origin creation realm expert, he could not withstand it at all. Heh! Damn it, I've been discovered. Seeing that Tianzi's identity had been exposed, Qilin Bull's expression changed slightly. This was not good news. Currently, Tianzi had not grown up yet. If his identity was completely exposed, they would not be able to protect him at all. A heavenly origin creation realm treasure is in his body, but you did not take it away. Is there any special reason? The Holy Father continued to speak, his breathing was slow and rapid. Or are you waiting for me to take it away? Wishful thinking. Hearing his words, Qilin Bull's eyes were filled with violent murderous intent. He did not continue to escape and slowly raised his head. Demon God, flower of death, explode. Above him, the eye with the blood-red flower in its pupil bloomed one by one. The petals directly attacked the Holy Father. Holy Bell, today, I will fight you to death and obtain a shocking creation. The Holy Father was extremely fanatical. With a wave of his arm, a divine bell of light floated in the air. The divine bell of light enlarged and enveloped the entire heaven and earth. Seeing that the other party was trying to trap them with the divine bell, Qilin Bull's eyes flickered, but he did not dodge. He did not attack the divine bell either. Chapter 41:26, Dawn. The bright bell rang and a huge divine bell shrouded the entire space. It completely enveloped Qilin Bull and the rest. The Holy Father stared at Qilin Bull coldly as a terrifying aura erupted from his body. A strong will to fight filled the surroundings. He stared at Qilin Bull. He was prepared to engage in a battle of life and death with someone of the same level. The kind that would not rest until one of them was dead. Under normal circumstances, it was rare for someone of the same level to fight to the death. But now, for the sake of a creation treasure of Heaven Yuan, he would not rest until one of them was dead. Otherwise, he would not be satisfied. Even if this body of his perished, he had to give it a try. You want to fight to the death with me? Let's see who will die today. He is not someone you can lay a finger on. Qilin Bull stared at the Holy Father with a cold gaze. The other party wanted to kill him and obtain the creation treasure of Heaven Yuan. However, Qilin Bull did not escape immediately. Escaping was the next best option. He had already received news of Tianzi and could no longer escape. Instead, he had to kill him. Although he could be revived after killing him, he would still have to expose himself. However, killing him would give them a buffer and allow them to make some preparations in advance. Most importantly, Qilin Bull knew that Wang Xian was rushing over. The other party's strength was similar to his. But once Wang Xian arrived, they would be able to eliminate this creation treasure of Heaven Yuan expert of the light attribute. Let's end this quickly and see who will die today. I must get the creation treasure of Heaven Yuan. The Holy Father stared at Qilin Bull and went berserk. He had to kill the other party as soon as possible. Otherwise, as time went on, it was possible that he would be discovered by other experts, or even by the experts of this universe. I say, light erupts, white night rages, death of light, sacrifice of light. The Holy Father waved his hand and sharp spikes appeared on the magic staff in his hand. A terrifying aura erupted from his body. In an instant, he unleashed 4 powerful attacks. In fact, the last attack completely exhausted his foundation. He raised the spiked magic staff in his hand and struck at Qilin Bull. Tianzi, lie down. When the Qilin Bull saw the other party unleashing his full strength, his face turned solemn. A wave of energy enveloped Tianzi's body, and the Qilin Bull's body began to expand once again. Soon, it reached several thousand meters in size. The aura of a demon god surged, and the horn of the Qilin ox emitted a powerful death energy, directly welcoming the Holy Father. Boom! A terrifying collision sound rang out, and terrifying energy surged into the surroundings. Tianzi laid on top of the Qilin Bull and was protected by the energy. His face was filled with shock. He never expected the Qilin Bull's powers to be so terrifying, nor did he expect his opponent's powers to be so terrifying. A great battle broke out. However, when the battle broke out completely, in the Muley tribe, When Wang Xian received the message, his eyes narrowed. He moved at a terrifying speed and rushed towards where Lin Niu and the others were. He didn't expect that Tianxi would be discovered by a divine origin creation realm powerhouse. Moreover, he was discovered in such a manner. In Wang Xian's opinion, the Heaven Yuan creation treasure in Tianxi's body had a strong concealment ability. A divine origin creation realm powerhouse could only sense Tianxi from a distance of tens of meters. A distance of tens of meters could be considered very close. Such an expert wouldn't normally be so close to him, but now, a divine origin creation realm powerhouse wanted to kill Tianxi and the others. Qilin Bul had no choice but to intervene. It's a little early to be discovered, Wang Xian thought to himself, and frowned slightly. Tianxi's current strength was only at the Third Order Universe Lord realm. Although the Heaven Yuan creation treasure had been growing, it hadn't reached the mature stage. It wasn't even close. According to Wang Xian's estimation, Tianxi would need another 1 to 200 million years to reach the Heaven Yuan creation realm. When Tianxi reached the Heaven Yuan creation realm, the Heaven Yuan creation treasure in his body would also reach the mature stage. The reason why it could grow so quickly was also related to the progenitor tree in Wang Xian's body. When Tianxi was young, the progenitor tree had been instilling energy into him. Although he had taken a branch, it had at least shortened the growth period of the Heaven Yuan creation treasure in his body by 100 million years. Forget it. If it really doesn't work, I'll bring Tianxi to the Tree of Chaos. Wang Xian thought to himself, and a cold look gradually appeared in his eyes. That divine origin creation realm expert with the light attribute was actually trying to snatch Tianxi away. Compete. He snorted coldly, and shuttled rapidly under the water surface. The swirling sea was a region where elemental beasts gathered. That was the domain and paradise for elemental beasts. It was also the place where Tianxi and the others trained. It wasn't near to the Muley tribe. Even if Wang Xian used the teleportation formation in the Muley tribe to reach the nearest tribe, and then flew at full speed, it would still take him a day. However, Qilin Bul could still hold on for a day's battle with the Divine Origin Creation Realm expert. Even if Divine Origin Creation Realm experts of the same level fought with their lives on the line, it would still take 5 to 6 days, or even more than 10 days to determine the winner. Unless both parties were willing to die, then it was possible to determine the winner within a day. But obviously, Qilin Bul wouldn't fight with his life on the line. Time ticked by. At a corner of the swirling sea, Qilin Bul and the Divine Origin Creation Realm expert of the light attribute were fighting continuously. Hold on. How long can you hold on for? Ha ha ha, let's see how long you can hold on. In the middle of the battlefield, Qilin Bul and that sacred father were fighting fiercely. At the beginning, the Divine Light Attribute Creation Realm expert was exchanging blows with his life, hoping to end the battle as soon as possible. After exchanging blows with him a few times, Qilin Bul calmed down and started defending. This made the Divine Origin Creation Realm expert excited, thinking that Qilin Bul wasn't a match for him, and didn't dare to engage in a life-and-death battle with him. His eyes were glowing with a fiery glow, and terrifying attacks came one after another. Qilin Bul snorted coldly, but didn't answer. He continued to defend against his attacks. Some wounds appeared on his body, and they weren't light. Similarly, the Divine Light Attribute Creation Realm expert also had wounds on his body under his frenzied attacks. His wounds were only slightly lighter than his. If it was a real life-and-death battle, the chances of Qilin Bul dying were still very high. His opponent's strength, treasures, and means were stronger than him. But there was no need for him to fight with his life on the line. Chapter 41:27, Boom, Boom, Boom. The impact of the energy and the vast might caused the divine light bell to rumble continuously. The Sacred Father, who was at the heavenly essence creation level of the light element, kept bombarding the Qilin Bul with blazing eyes. After fighting for more than 20 hours, he could sense that the Qilin Bul was no match for him. Especially when he was injured at the beginning of the battle, he still had the upper hand. This filled him with excitement. Even if he was severely injured, he would take the Heaven Yuan fortune treasure with him today. He would bring it back to his universe. In that case, his strength would be greatly enhanced. He would be fearless in the face of the calamity. The battle continued. Tianci, who was lying on the Qilin Bul, was still in shock. He could only see the energy around him. He felt like a leaf in the ocean. He could die at any time. Now, he understood the situation he was in. Tianci was a smart person. Based on the information he had gathered, he had a clear understanding of himself. 100 million years ago, there were invaders from other universes in the Six Paths universe. His grandfather had even been recruited to join a team that hunted the invaders. Even the three lords of the Six Paths universe could not do anything to the invaders. One could only imagine how strong they were. He also knew the purpose of the invaders entering the Six Paths universe. It was to obtain a treasure from the Six Paths universe. As for what the treasure was, the disciples of the Six Paths universe did not know. Now, he knew that he was the treasure. Once he was discovered, he would be killed and the treasure in his body would be taken away. This caused his body to tremble. No wonder Godfather did not want me to expose my wood elemental energy. No wonder Godfather placed a seal on me. Tianci began to understand. He looked at the bleeding Qilin Bul and his expression changed. Uncle Qilin Bul, should we run? You are injured. Tianci said to the Qilin Bul. Don't worry. The Qilin Bul transmitted his voice to him and continued to face the attacks in front of him. Roar. Roar. Tens of minutes later, the Qilin Bul suddenly roared. You want to fight me? Let's see who lives and who dies today. The Qilin Bul instantly went berserk, no longer passively defending. All sorts of runes shot out from the scales on his body. These runes transformed into strange and terrifying phantoms. Each and every one of them was like a demon god. Ha ha ha, good, good, then let's fight to the death, ha ha. The Holy Father laughed maniacally when he saw that the Qilin Bul was going to fight him to the death. His eyes glowed as he charged at the Qilin Bul, engaging in close-range combat. Boom boom boom. The Qilin ox and the Qilin ox clashed against each other. Terrifying energy battered the flesh of both sides. In less than 5 minutes, wounds had appeared on their bodies. Judging by the intensity of the battle, it wouldn't be long before a victor would be decided. Buzz. However, at this moment, a figure quickly flew over from outside. Wang Xian stood at the front and looked ahead. His eyes were gleaming with excitement. A veteran divine origin creation realm expert is slightly stronger than a Qilin. With me and the 5 elements grindstone, I should be able to kill it. Wang Xian murmured. He focused his gaze and his eyes glowed with grayish energy. This light attribute divine clock is actually a broken fragment of a divine origin creation treasure. Wang Xian looked at the divine clock. Divine origin creation treasures were not indestructible. Divine origin creation treasures could be destroyed if they were at the control level or the great Tao level. It was especially so for divine origin creation treasures that had yet to reach their peak. Heavenly origin fortune treasures could be said to be the same as heavenly origin fortune realm experts. However, the difference was that divine origin creation treasures could only be destroyed and could not be completely obliterated. The broken heaven origin fortune supreme treasure still contained some power. If he could find all the fragments and nurture them with a large amount of time and energy, he could still recover. Whoosh! In the next instant, Wang Xian was above the divine clock of light. With a wave of his palm, the 5 elements grindstone appeared at the side. The star sector fragment and the book of forbidden water spell, the 2 divine origin creation treasures, appeared in his hands. Boom! In the next instant, Wang Xian controlled the star sector fragment and the book of forbidden water spell and blasted them at the divine clock. At the same time, the 5 elements grindstone also unleashed a powerful attack towards the divine clock. Rumble. The sudden attack caused a huge crack to appear in the defensive barrier set up by the divine bell. At the same time, the energy shields in other areas started to collapse. Phut, this is bad. Other divine origin creation realm experts are here. At this moment, Holy Father, who was fighting with Qilin, suddenly sensed that the defense of the divine clock had been broken. The divine clock suffered a huge attack. His expression changed drastically and he could not help but spit out blood. The divine clock was nurtured by him and was one with him. When it was severely injured, his body would also be injured. Just like Tianzi, taking away the divine origin creation treasure in his body would also mean the end of his life. Roar, roar, die. Chilin's eyes shone brightly. The horn on his head emitted blood-red energy and charged towards him. Stop. There are foreign divine origin creation realm experts. You won't have a good ending if you fight with me. Holy Father saw Chilin charging towards him. Due to the impact of the divine clock, his body had also suffered a blow. This made him extremely embarrassed. In such a short period of time, a divine origin creation realm expert had actually discovered this place. His luck was simply terrible to the extreme. Kill. However, at this moment, a cold voice entered his ears. Wang Xian, who was in the sky, immediately turned his arms into dragon claws after breaking the defense of the divine clock. The terrifying dragon claws carried destructive energy and clawed at his body. Close combat. Wang Xian was also fighting in close combat. He was fighting with his life on the line. Shit, are you guys together? When he saw Wang Xian charging towards him, he was infuriated. He did not expect Chilin to have a helper. Scram. He bellowed and waved the magic staff in his hand. The sharp thorns on the staff were like lasers and charged towards Wang Xian. Wang Xian did not dodge at all and continued to attack with the dragon claws. Behind him, on the 5 elements grindstone, the heads of the 5 divine dragons intertwined and formed a 5-colored divine dragon head. The divine dragon head charged towards the light attribute divine origin creation realm expert. Chapter 41:28. Damn it, they're trying to kill me. When Saint Father saw Wang Xian facing his attack without any intention of dodging, his expression changed drastically when he was about to go head-on with Wang Xian. He was confident that he could kill Chilin Bul. However, with the addition of a creation realm expert, he was definitely no match for them. Under such circumstances, if he continued to fight, he would definitely be the one to die. Escape. However, he had to shake off their attacks in order to escape. Boom. At this instant, Wang Xian's dragon claw collided with the magic staff in his hand. Terrifying energy surged towards the surroundings. The rain in the sky evaporated instantly. Even the seawater below was annihilated by the energy and disappeared. Wang Xian's dragon claw started to turn into a bloody mess. His claws were about to fall off. However, Saint Father didn't have it easy either. Their battle was completely close combat. Their bodies were the first to suffer the impact of the energy. His arm that was holding the magic staff crumbled immediately. His flesh disappeared, leaving only pale white bones behind. It looked just as horrifying. Wang. However, at this moment, the 5 elements grindstone that was following closely behind Wang Xian. The head of the 5-colored divine dragon attacked him. The distance between them was too close. He had been fighting with Chilin Bul to begin with and was prepared to end the battle quickly. Therefore, he was heavily injured. Now that Wang Xian had suddenly appeared, he couldn't dodge at all. After dodging Wang Xian's attack, the 5 elements grindstone's attack landed on him. Boom. The 5 elements dragon head landed on his body directly. Saint Father was enraged and his body emitted dazzling white light. He took out a divine herb and put it into his body. Boom. The 5 elements dragon head landed on his body. His chest emitted a powerful radiance. A radiant shield with patterns on it blocked in front of him. However, even though he managed to withstand the attack of the 5 elements dragon heads, his body plummeted to the ground. Chilin Bul's eyes narrowed when he saw this. Fight. Didn't you want to fight? Ha ha ha. Let's see who will die today. Damn it. Chilin Bul lifted his head slightly and blood-red energy began to gather around him. Behind him, the shadow of a demonic god appeared. The demon god slowly opened his arms and embraced the Holy Father. The threat of death enveloped the Holy Father once again. Ah! The Holy Father roared as he saw the attacks coming one after another. The staff, which had fallen to the side, instantly appeared above him. The staff turned into a defensive shield and enveloped him. Boom! The embrace of the demonic god enveloped the Holy Father, and great terror was happening inside. Countless devils were tearing at him from inside. Wang Xian moved and waved his arm. The space lock of the starfield fragment was executed. At the same time, stars appeared one after another, connecting into a line. Buzz. The energy of the demon god's embrace began to dissipate gradually. Wang Xian waved his arm, and the stars that contained terrifying power shot towards the sacred father. This, foster father is here. From the moment Wang Xian arrived to the moment he launched the attack, everything happened in the blink of an eye. Tianci, who was lying on the Qilin Bool, widened his eyes when he saw Wang Xian. He was pleasantly surprised. Seeing the terrifying stars arranged in a row, with no end in sight, his face was filled with astonishment. His godfather was 100% a creation realm expert. A top-notch expert in the world. All of you deserve to die. All of you deserve to die. If you dare to kill me, I'll spread the news that you have obtained the creation treasure of Heaven Yuan. The Holy Father's body trembled violently when he saw the terrifying attacks coming at him one after another, and he roared loudly, "Kill him with all your might." Wang Xian stared at the saintly father with a cold gaze. Tianci had been discovered by him. No matter what would happen next, he must not let him go. On the contrary, after killing him, he would revive in his own universe. Even if he rushed over, it would take a long time for him to do so. As for whether he would spread the news about Tianci, Wang Xian felt that the possibility was slim. Now, he had to kill him to buy more time. As long as Tianci grew stronger, he would fear no one. It would be impossible for other experts to snatch away the creation treasure of Heaven Yuan from him. Yes, boss. The Qilin Bool immediately answered loudly. Energy began to build up in its body. When the attacks from the stars ended, the Qilin Bool would strike again with all its might. Roar roar. Upon hearing Wang Xian's words, the Holy Father saw the horrifying stars. He sensed his own body and let out a furious roar. He moved his palm and a unique line of light appeared in his hand. This long line flew into the distance instantly. It was so fast that Wang Xian and the rest could not react in time. Just as the stars were about to land on his body disappeared. Huh! Wang Xian's eyes narrowed when he saw this. He knew that existences of this level would have some means to escape. Otherwise, they wouldn't have dared to step into the Six Paths universe. However, it was a pity that the Holy Father had just started fighting with the Qilin Bool and was ambushed by him. He had less than 50% of his strength left. Trying to escape. Chase. Wang Xian roared at the Qilin Bool and chased after the line of light. Just you wait. Just you wait. The Heaven Yuan fortune treasure belongs to me. It belongs to me. The Holy Father attached himself to the line of light and fled at high speed. His face was filled with malevolence. He still had a chance after this failure. He had to get his hands on the creation treasure of Heaven Yuan. Bam! However, at this moment, the sound of something crashing was heard. In front of him, a 5 elements energy was blocking the line from flying at high speed. The Holy Father's expression changed when he saw this. He recovered from the state of the line, waved the magic staff in his hand and smashed it forward. Boom! An invisible energy barrier appeared, and under his attack, it trembled slightly. Boom! Seeing the energy shield trembling, the radiance on his arm was transferred to the magic staff. He gritted his teeth and continued to attack heavily. Ka. Cracks began to appear on the energy shield. He raised the magic staff in his hand again and continued his attack. Do you think you can escape just because you want to attack? At this moment, Wang Xian and the Qilin Bool were standing on a star and flying towards him rapidly. Boom! Wang Xian held the 5 elements grindstone in his hand. With a wave of his arm, the grindstone turned into a terrifying killing weapon and smashed towards the Holy Father. Damn it! The Holy Father's expression changed drastically when he saw Wang Xian and the others chasing after him. Chapter 41-29. Break it. Holy Father stared at the invisible energy shield in front of him. He paid the price and attacked again. Fresh blood flowed out from his body uncontrollably. Bam! However, the energy shield in front of him was broken by him this time. Rumble! But at this moment, the attack of the 5 elements grind had arrived. He gritted his teeth and stared back with bloodshot eyes. 2 rays of holy light were emitted from his eyes. The holy light turned into countless shadows of living beings and attacked the 5 elements grind. Swish swish. Swish swish. Come on, continue to fight. Don't run. Qilin Bul and Wang Xian dashed over quickly. Qilin Bul stared at Holy Father and roared. They attacked Holy Father from the left and right at the same time. I'll remember you. Just you wait. I'll make you pay 100 times the price. The Holy Father's expression was extremely ugly when he saw this. He opened his mouth with some heartache, and a cross appeared in front of him. The cross began to melt gradually and a black hole appeared in front of him. He moved and directly entered the black hole. The moment he entered, the black hole disappeared. Huh. Boss, this guy really has a lot of tricks up his sleeves. He escaped again. Qilin Bul's expression changed when he saw Holy Father escaping again. Let's see how many trump cards he has. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows. He did not expect Holy Father to have more trump cards and treasures. Wang Xian's body shook as he sensed the position and distance of Holy Father's escape. Netherworld Dragon Pursuit. In the next instant, Wang Xian focused his eyes and a black hole appeared in front of him. Wang Xian looked at Qilin Bul. Qilin Bul moved and flew into the black hole. He was also following closely behind them. Wang. Above the fire source. Below, raging flames soared into the sky, illuminating the entire void with a bright red light. Countless flame spirits floated in the surrounding void. From afar, it was a magnificent sight. A black hole suddenly appeared out of nowhere. In the next second, a miserable figure with blood flowing from his body and the attributes of light emerged from the black hole. He panted heavily, his face cold and filled with murderous intent. Just you wait, he said with a murderous look on his face. This time, he had used up 2 treasures, which was not a small loss for him. His expression kept changing as he thought about what to do next. Buzz. However, at this moment, a black hole appeared beside him. When the black hole appeared, he was shocked and a trace of fear appeared on his face. Let me see if you still have any trump cards to escape. Wang Xian's voice rang in his ears. When the sage father saw Wang Xian and Qilin emerging from the black hole, his heart sank. Boom. Without the slightest hesitation, he instantly fled into the distance. Searching the void. Mighty heavenly dragon. Wang Xian let out a deep roar. In the sky above him, a massive divine dragon that spanned a few million kilometers floated in the void. The terrifying divine dragon attacked the Holy Father. Whoosh whoosh. The Qilin Bul's gaze locked onto the Holy Father. With a swift movement, it gave chase as well. The Holy Father saw that he was being targeted. With his current injuries, his speed had been greatly reduced. He was no longer as fast as Wang Xian and Qilin Bul. As for the chassis in his hands, he had already used up all of them. When he entered the 6 Paths universe, he had only brought 2 chassis. In his opinion, with 2 chassis, he could escape even if he encountered a creation realm expert from the 6 Paths universe. Moreover, if he were to bring more territories over, if he were to really die, the losses would be too great. So great that he couldn't withstand it. Now, he had no chassis. Without a chassis, what should he do under the circumstances where he couldn't escape? He felt a little hopeless. However, at this moment, Wang Xian wouldn't let him off. The mighty heavenly dragon had already landed above him. The Qilin Bul chased after it rapidly. The Qilin Bul was still holding the 5 elements grindstone. It's over. Seeing this, the Holy Father felt helpless. Now, the most he could do was defend against the divine dragon in the sky. He couldn't defend against the attacks of the Qilin Bul. Not to mention, the Qilin Bul had an offensive treasure that was comparable to the creation realm expert. Boom. Boom, boom. Waves of attacks engulfed him. At the center, there was still a burst of radiant energy at the beginning. But soon, this radiant light gradually extinguished. This was the 6 Paths universe, and there was no light attribute in the 6 Paths universe. In a battle here, he was naturally weaker than Wang Xian. Coupled with the Qilin Bul's 5 elements grindstone, without any severe injuries to his chassis, his vitality was quickly disappearing. Wang Xian sensed his rapidly disappearing vitality and revealed a faint smile on his face. Moving his body, Wang Xian flew over. With a wave of his hand, the energy shockwave dissipated, revealing a corpse that was falling rapidly to the ground. Wang Xian flew over and collected all the blood around the corpse. The blood of a creation realm expert was also an invaluable treasure. He's dead. Haha, boss, we killed another creation realm expert. Qilin Bull saw this and flew over, laughing heartily. He was excited. Godfather, you've killed a creation realm expert of heaven origin. Tianxi saw this scene and the corpse, and his face was filled with shock. Today, he had received too many shocks. So much so that he did not even notice it when he was at the fire source. A divine origin creation realm expert had been killed by foster father and the others. This had completely overturned his understanding. Although he's dead, experts of this level all have treasures to revive them. But he had to pay a huge price to kill him. Wang Xian smiled and kept the corpse. He looked at Tianxi and answered, "That's amazing, Godfather. You guys are really amazing. The battle just now was so terrifying. Godfather, I didn't expect you to be so strong." So strong. Tianxi's eyes widened. He could not digest what he had just heard and continued to exclaim incoherently. "Now you should know something. Qilin Bull and I are not living beings of the Six Paths universe. We belong to another universe. Of course, this creation realm expert with the light attribute is also from another universe. When we enter this universe, we will be suppressed by the will of the Six Paths universe. Our strength will be suppressed to below the creation realm. The battle just now was nothing. Alright, let's go back as soon as possible to avoid any accidents. Also, we have to make some preparations." Wang Xian flew to Qilin Bull, patted Tianxi's head and said with a smile. Chapter 41:30. Godfather, no matter which universe you are from, you will always be my godfather. I was raised by you and my mother. You and my mother are the closest people to me in my life. Moreover, I know that you treat me well from the bottom of your heart and want to protect me. Tianxi listened to Wang Xian and spoke to him seriously. He would never forget that not long after he was born, his cultivation speed was very slow. It was his godfather who told him that he was born extraordinary. He taught him to cultivate the wood attribute. He would never forget that it was his godfather who guided him when he encountered problems. Moreover, everything that his godfather was doing now was for his own good. If not for his godfather, he would have been discovered and killed by some experts. In addition, as his strength improved and the Heaven Yuan creation treasure grew, he also knew why he was unusually close to his godfather since he was young. Because he could vaguely sense that there was a treasure with the same attribute as him in his godfather's body. Now that he had grown up, he could think clearly about many problems. Hihi, let's go. Wang Xian chuckled as he brought Tianxi and flew towards the water source. Godfather, is this the fire source? We actually came here directly. This place is very far from the water source. Godfather, your speed is so fast and terrifying. When can I be so fast? Godfather, I'm going to hunt elemental beasts with a dozen of my classmates. What should we do now? Tianxi sat on the back of the Qilin Bull and looked around as he spoke with surprise and excitement. I'll settle your training. When the time comes, I'll transfer some memories directly into the minds of your classmates. Wang Xian replied to Tianxi. Memory modification? Is it that powerful? Tianxi asked in surprise. As long as you cultivate this type of ability, it'll be easy for the strong to use it on the weak. Wang Xian nodded. That's scary. Godfather, what if someone changes my memory? That won't happen. You have a heavenly yuan fortune treasure in your body. Even a heavenly yuan fortune treasure would crazily desire such a treasure. With your current strength, even a heavenly yuan fortune treasure would not be able to alter your memories. The heavenly yuan fortune treasure in your body has some ability to protect itself. As Tianxi chatted with Wang Xian, they flew towards the water source rapidly. From here to the water source, the distance was still very far. It would take at least a month. And this was under the condition of using the teleportation array midway. Tianxi and the others had been training for 10 years, so this 1 month didn't affect them much. Damn it. The heavenly origin fortune treasure is actually inside a young man's body. It's completely fused with him. The heavenly origin fortune treasure has been fused with a young man ever since it was born. Moreover, there are two powerful heavenly origin creation stage experts guarding him. What are they doing? Why didn't you just take the treasure? While Wang Xian and the rest were on their way, they were in a different universe. The center of the huge basin was shrouded in bright energy. In the sky, there were countless light elves flying around. An old man sat cross-legged in the center of the room. The old man's illusory body gradually solidified. A low voice came from his mouth, and his expression was very ugly. He was a light-type heavenly prime creation realm existence that Wang Xian had just killed. After his death, he was resurrected in his own universe. This resurrection had cost him quite a bit. Furthermore, his corpse was also an incomparably huge resource. In that corpse, there were two of his weapons. One was a heavenly origin creation fragment, and the other was a powerful weapon. They were all his treasures, but now they were all gone. Now, even if he recovered completely, he couldn't return to his peak combat power. I can't just let the heavenly origin fortune treasure go like this. The surroundings of the Six Paths universe are guarded by other heavenly origin creation stage experts. With all kinds of powerful detection techniques, it will be hard for them to bring the treasure out. However, they are much stronger than me. I'm no match for them at all. He mumbled to himself, his expression changing constantly as he pondered. It seems like I have to find some helpers, he said after a few minutes of silence. He wasn't a match for them, so he could only find other heavenly origin creation stage experts to work with. This was something he had no other choice. We're here. Tianci, continue with your training. Look for me when you're done. After more than a month, Wang Xian and the rest arrived at the water source again. He said to Tianci, Yes, Godfather. Tianci nodded his head. After which, Wang Xian left, while Qilin Bul continued to follow beside Tianci. However, this time, to prevent any accidents, Wang Xian didn't go too far away. Instead, he came to a location not far from Tianci. There was no difference between returning to the temporary residence and staying here. When they came to the bottom of the water source, Wang Xian waved his palm, and the corpse of the heavenly origin creation stage expert appeared before him. Light attribute. Wang Xian's eyes flickered. And it's a veteran heavenly origin creation stage expert. He waved his palm, searched the corpse, and found a space item. In this space item, Wang Xian found a heavenly origin creation fragment, which was the divine bell of light. In addition, there was a staff and some resources of the light attribute. There weren't many resources, but the value of the staff of light and the heavenly origin creation fragment was extremely high. The staff was obviously forged from treasures found in the chaos, and inborn cardinal treasures couldn't be compared to it. Now that I've obtained the corpse of a veteran heavenly origin creation stage expert with the light attribute, and a staff, can the Tai Chi Dragon Plate achieve a breakthrough? Wang Xian was looking forward to it. Previously, the Tai Chi Dragon Plate had absorbed a large amount of resources and treasures, and even with the corpse of a heavenly origin creation stage expert, it still couldn't achieve a breakthrough. If it absorbed another corpse this time, it should be able to achieve a breakthrough, right? Once it achieved a breakthrough, the combat power of Wang Xian's side would be greatly enhanced. The corpse of a heavenly origin creation stage expert isn't that easy to obtain. It's definitely precious. As Wang Xian spoke, he took out the Tai Chi Dragon Plate and started devouring. Subsequently, he sized up the divine bell of light. After a while, he had some understanding of it. This divine bell of light was a treasure used for defense and trapping humans. Its power was similar to the stellar domain fragment. It was slightly weaker than the Book of Forbidden Spells of Water. The Book of Forbidden Spells of Water in Wang Xian's hand was 2/3 of the heavenly origin creation treasure. Chapter 4131. There was a huge difference in power between the fragments of a Heaven Yuan creation treasure and a complete Heaven Yuan creation treasure. Even the Book of Water Forbidden Curse in Wang Xian's hands was 2/3 of a Heaven Yuan creation treasure. But in terms of power, there was still a huge difference between it and a complete Heaven Yuan creation treasure. The difference was more than 10 times. However, Wang Xian had 3 fragments of a Heaven Yuan creation treasure. In a battle of the same level, he had the upper hand. But against the veteran Heaven Yuan creation treasure experts, he might not have a huge advantage. The veteran Heaven Yuan creation treasure experts had explored the chaos for billions of years. They would usually have many trump cards in their hands. Wang Xian was able to kill the Heaven Yuan creation treasure experts twice because they did not bring out all their trump cards. Godfather, our training is over. I'll look for you now. 2 years later, Tianci sent a message to Wang Xian. Seeing this, Wang Xian moved and returned to his residence. Before long, Qilin Bull rushed over with Tianci. How was the training? Wang Xian asked with a smile when he saw Tianci. Hehe, Godfather, in the entire Muley school, except for the 2 who are much older than me and have better results than me, the others are not as good as me, Tianci said proudly, and in a battle of the same level, I'm invincible. But it's all because you've taught me well. Wang Xian chuckled when he heard his bootlicking. He had watched Tianci grow up. He knew Tianci's character and habits like the back of his hand. Although he was close to 100 million years old, he was still a child in front of him. Sometimes, he would show off his proud results. And he was good at bootlicking. There was almost nothing he wouldn't tell him. Come, take a seat. I have something to tell you. Wang Xian gestured to the seat in front of him and said to Tianci. Godfather, are you going to tell me everything? Tianci looked at Wang Xian with anticipation. Although he had already guessed a large part of it, he still hoped to understand the real situation from Wang Xian's mouth. Wang Xian did not answer him. He waved his arm and a wave of energy surrounded the surroundings. About 90 million years ago, I came to the 6 Paths universe. Speaking of which, it has been almost 100 million years. Wang Xian took out a teacup and poured himself a cup of tea. Tianci looked at Wang Xian and listened attentively. I'm from the 9 Essences universe. In our 9 Essences universe, a senior once told me that there are Heaven Origin fortune treasures in the 6 Paths universe. You might not know much about Heaven Origin fortune treasures, but all you need to know is that they are the greatest treasures in the universe. Not long after I received this news, I rushed over. I heard that this news was predicted by a powerful Heaven Origin realm expert. There are many experts who know about this. Many Sky Origin creation stage powerhouses have rushed over. As for the exact number, I'm not sure. However, there are definitely more than 50 to 60 of them. All the experts are here for the fortune treasure of Heaven Origin. Wang Xian looked at him and spoke quietly. At least 50 to 60? Are they all at your level, Godfather? Tianci's eyes widened when he heard this. Some are stronger than me, and some are weaker. I'm the leader of the Dragon Palace in the 9 Essences universe, the king of the divine dragon race. However, according to the news I received, the 3 lords in your 6 Paths universe seem to have just entered the Heaven Origin creation stage. Most of the Heaven Origin creation stage powerhouses here are not weaker than the 3 lords. In fact, they might even be stronger. However, this is the 6 Paths universe. The cataclysm has not arrived yet. If we enter, our strength will be suppressed. Wang Xian said to him. You will know this in the future. What I'm telling you now is the preciousness of the fortune treasure of Heaven Origin. Wang Xian looked at him and said, in the 9 Essences universe, you belong to the divine dragon race. In the past, the divine dragon race experienced a genocide. I only rose after that and established the Dragon Palace. During the glorious era, the divine dragon race had hundreds of thousands of universe sovereign realm experts, many pinnacle universe sovereign realm experts, and even legendary dragon kings who were invincible in the pinnacle universe sovereign realm. In addition, the divine dragon race had a fortune treasure of Heaven Origin. He was a veteran who was much stronger than those who had just entered the divine dragon race. As for the extinction of the divine dragon race, it was because they fought with another pinnacle universe race, another race that possessed a fortune treasure of Heaven Origin. In the end, they perished together. This is the preciousness of a fortune treasure of Heaven Origin. Wang Xian looked at him and said. Upon hearing this, Tianci opened his mouth slightly and his face was filled with disbelief. Then, foster father, what would happen if I were to be discovered? He couldn't help but ask. There would only be one outcome. The fortune treasure of heaven origin in your body would be stripped away. Wang Xian looked at him and said, "You are one with the fortune treasure of heaven origin. The reason why you don't have a father now is because you were born into your mother's womb." Tianzi was a little stunned when he heard this. This was a very big secret to him. When he was young, some kids had said that he was a bastard without a father. So this was the reason for everything. Wang Xian sipped his tea and waited for him to digest the news. Then my mother. Foster father, should I be more careful in the future and not let anyone discover me? Tianzi opened his mouth and said with a frown. You have already been exposed. That fortune treasure of heaven origin expert won't give up. But you can still buy some time. As long as you can reach the fortune realm, everything will be fine. In addition, I have given you the soul return embryo fruit. That is a resurrection fruit. If you are killed, you can be resurrected. In addition, I will give you a branch of the soul return wood later. Let's see if the fortune treasure of heaven origin in your body can absorb it and grow. If it works, you can be resurrected directly if you die in the future. Wang Xian said to him, I can bring you back to my universe now and let you grow to the fortune realm. But in life, you will have to go through some difficulties. From now on, you will lead a normal life. If you really die, you will return to my universe and reach the fortune realm. Then, you will come back for revenge in the future. Most importantly, you are a living being of the Six Paths universe. If you enter the Nine Source universe, you will be suppressed. Your family and tribe are here. Wang Xian looked at him and caressed his head. The last sentence was from the bottom of his heart. He had already treated Tianzi as his own son. Tianzi's roots were in the Six Paths universe. His mother, grandparents, and friends were all here. It was unfair to bring him away. Chapter 4132, Wang Xian didn't have any children of his own yet. Over the past 100 million years, he had been playing the role of Tianzi's godfather. Without his father, Tianzi, Wang Xian was equivalent to his father. He also had the responsibility to take care of him, to guide and teach him. In Wang Xian's eyes, this was the child that he had watched grow up. Godfather. When Tianzi heard Wang Xian's words, he looked at him with a touched expression. He couldn't help but kneel on the ground and kowtow to Wang Xian. Godfather, I'll definitely cultivate diligently and reach the creation realm as soon as possible. In the future, I'll roam the universe with you, Tianzi said to Wang Xian in a serious tone. He. Wang Xian looked at him and smiled. Subsequently, he shook his head and said, Next, your priority isn't to cultivate but to live. Speaking of which, you're almost 100 million years old. You can look for a girlfriend, find a friendship, enjoy family and love, and live a good life. As a father of a child, Wang Xian didn't wish for him to cultivate all day in the near future. He hoped that he could make some friends, get to know some people, and get into a relationship. Enjoy family. Live a complete life. Once he reached the heavenly origin creation realm, he would lack these things. Ordinary cultivators did not dare to make friends with divine origin creation realm experts. There was no true love in the creation realm. There wasn't much pure love. Since he was still young, he should enjoy it. As for Tianzi's advancement to the creation realm, it would be of great help to him. Wang Xian didn't care about this. What a joke. Did Wang Xian need his own child to fight alongside him? He wanted to use his own strength to fight his way to the top. Godfather, Tianzi opened his mouth but didn't know what to say. Just live a good life. See if you can find a daughter-in-law for me. Wang Xian stood up, patted his head, and said with a smile. Godfather, I don't have a girl I like yet. Tianzi stood up with a blushing face. Don't worry. If you meet one, just chase after her boldly. Don't be afraid. Wang Xian said to him with a smile. Tianzi grinned and didn't say a word. Soon, Muri Yina rushed over and the three of them had a meal together. Now that the Mu Li tribe's training had ended, Tianzi would be sent to one of the Mu Li tribe's blessed lands to cultivate for a few million years before participating in the Six Paths Universe Martial Dao Conference. The Six Paths universe was preparing for the upcoming cataclysm. He began to select some elite disciples. Tianci stayed at home for a year before starting to cultivate. The Tai Chi dragon plate itself has already absorbed a lot of energy. There's only one shackle left. Now, with the corpse of a light attribute divine origin creation realm expert and some resources, it should be enough. After Tianci entered the grotto heaven and blessed land to cultivate, Wang Xian began to study the Tai Chi dragon board. The enhancement of the Tai Chi dragon board was crucial to Wang Xian and the dragon palace. After all, the enhancement of the Tai Chi dragon plate was equivalent to Wang Xian gaining another heavenly Yuan creation realm combat power. The battle prowess of a heaven Yuan creation realm expert was extremely terrifying. In the entire 9 essences universe, there were only 9 of them. If the Tai Chi dragon plate improved, it would be equivalent to having 4 divine origin creation realm experts on his side. It was comparable to 2 control-level heavenly primordial fortunes. Perhaps only the fallen Shadow Devil Emperor could suppress Wang Xian and the rest. As for whether they could kill Wang Xian and the rest, it was hard to say. Moreover, this would be of great help in dealing with the dangers that they might face in the future. Wang Xian helped the Tai Chi dragon board to absorb the energy from the corpse and the magic staff. Time passed by quickly. Wang wang wang. 5 million years later, a deep sound came from the Tai Chi dragon board. The 2 divine dragons intertwined and fused together. Powerful auras were emitted from the Tai Chi dragon board. As time passed, the light divine dragon and the darkness divine dragon slowly merged together. The 2 divine dragons merged into a single divine dragon. Roar! Roar! When the 2 divine dragons completely fused together, a special divine dragon appeared. The yin-yang divine dragon emitted the energy of light and had black dragon scales on its body. It appeared in front of Wang Xian. The energy of light and darkness had merged perfectly. Gradually, the divine dragon turned into a round plate. The round plate was pitch black, but it emitted a dazzling white light. It looked as creepy as one could imagine. Wang Xian felt the energy on the Tai Chi dragon board and smiled. Finally, a breakthrough. This brought a smile to his face. The Tai Chi dragon board has broken through, and my strength has increased tremendously, Wang Xian said with a smile. This was a very good news. The breakthrough of the Tai Chi dragon board might sound difficult, but it was also relatively simple. Along with the breakthrough of the Tai Chi dragon board, Wang Xian had an idea. The formation of the 5 elements grindstone and the Tai Chi dragon board might be a backup plan of the divine dragon tribe. Including the fact that Wang Xian could become a 9 origin divine dragon, it might be the arrangement of the divine dragon tribe. Otherwise, how could there be so many amazing treasures on the small earth? This might be the arrangement of the divine dragon tribe before its demise. Arranging for the 5 elements origin and the energy of yin and yang to be forged into treasures that could be upgraded to the heavenly primordial fortunes. Arranging for the progenitor tree to be discovered by the inheritors of the divine dragon system. Arranging for the inheritors of the divine dragon system to evolve into 9 origin divine dragons. Otherwise, why didn't the water divine dragon of the divine dragon tribe leave his legacy to the inheritors of the divine dragon system? Why would the water divine dragon make a breakthrough to the heavenly primordial fortunes with the water attribute? This might be a backup plan of the water divine dragon of the divine dragon tribe. This was because she was worried that after her demise, there would be water attribute experts who would make a breakthrough to the heavenly primordial fortunes and take over the quota of the divine dragon tribe. That was why she made such an arrangement. If that's the case, the water divine dragon is really powerful. However, I have already exhausted the resources of the divine dragon tribe, Wang Xian thought to himself. However, what Wang Xian did not know was that there were some parts of his conjecture that were not right. However, Wang Xian did not think too deeply about it. To be able to reach this stage, Wang Xian had relied on his own 2 hands. The most important thing was to subdue the unicorn. Next, I just have to wait for the day when Tianxi's crisis comes. I have to make some preparations and let Anli come. Wang Xian kept the Tai Chi dragon board, mumbled to himself, and walked out. He had a hunch that the light attribute heavenly primordial fortunes expert that they had killed previously was coming. Chapter 4133. The breakthrough of the Tai Chi dragon plate allowed Wang Xian to relax. For the next period of time, he strolled around the Muri tribe leisurely. Tian Ci was cultivating, and so was his mother, Muri Yin-er. Muri Yin-er was very young, and she couldn't fall behind in her cultivation. Otherwise, she wouldn't have any status in the Muri tribe. In any tribe, strength was the most important factor. The stronger one was, the higher one's status. Even if one had powerful elders, one couldn't fall behind in strength. Otherwise, others wouldn't respect one just because one's father was strong. In the Muri tribe, Muri Yin-er used to be a genius of her generation. She had outstanding talent. Even now, her talent was still very strong among her generation. Her strength was also top-notch. However, after Tian Ci was born, she kept a low profile. She had to keep a low profile as there were too many rumors in the tribe. "Godfather, I'll be at your house soon. I have something to tell you." More than 10,000 years had passed. On this day, Tian Ci sent a message. Upon receiving the message, Wang Xian smiled and replied immediately. "Godfather." More than 10 minutes later, Tian Ci's voice rang in the room. "Come in," Wang Xian said to him. Tian Ci pushed the door open and entered. Qilin Bul followed beside him with sparkling eyes. "Godfather, I have something important to tell you. While I was cultivating, the treasure in my body grew a little. Moreover, it gained a powerful skill and a few branches." Tian Ci walked to Wang Xian and said excitedly, "Oh, let me see." Wang Xian raised an eyebrow. He placed his palm on Tian Ci's body and sensed his situation. Water Attribute Realm, 5th Order Universe Venerable Realm. Wood Attribute Realm, 4th Order Universe Sovereign Realm. 4th Order Universe Sovereign Realm. Speaking of which, one would be considered an elite existence in any universe. As for the Heaven Yuan fortune treasure in his body, it had been growing along with his strength. The tree in his body was already dozens of meters in size. There were many branches on it. Among them were the branches of the soul-returning wood. The branches of the soul-returning wood were completely growing on it. In addition, there were hundreds of branches. Every branch had a different ability and a different method of attack. Even though Tian Ci was only a 4th Order Universe Sovereign, even an 8th Order Universe Sovereign might not be a match for him if they were to fight. An attack type Heavenly Origin Fortune Supreme Treasure was extremely terrifying. Among these hundreds of branches, Wang Xian knew most of them. However, compared to before, there were more branches. At the base, there were many densely packed roots. At the very top, there were two very eye-catching branches. These two branches were somewhat illusory. Among the other branches, they were very eye-catching. "Foster father, this new branch is very powerful. I call it the Divine Wood. I'll cover it up for you." After saying that, Tian Ci moved his palm and an illusory branch appeared in his hand. He held the branch and moved. A figure that looked exactly like him appeared in front of him. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows when he saw the figure that looked exactly like him. "Buzz." Tian Ci waved his arm at the figure that looked exactly like him. It was a very ordinary attack. The figure that looked exactly like him was 10 meters away, and it looked like he couldn't hit it at all. However, in the next second, the grayish branch landed on the figure that looked exactly like him. Bam! That body was directly split apart by this attack, and the vitality within it completely disappeared. Then, it gradually disappeared. "Oh!" Wang Xian sensed it from the side, and his face revealed a trace of surprise. In his senses, whether it was the body that looked exactly like him or the grayish branch of the Divine Wood, they were all very strange. With a casual wave of the God-beating tree's branch, the branch seemed to be able to teleport, appearing in front of its target and striking out. There was no way to dodge. As for the body that looked exactly like Tian Ci, in Wang Xian's eyes, the wood-based energy in the body was no different from his own. It was similar to Dark Ghost's doppelganger, but there were some differences. This body's strength was exactly the same as Tian Ci's. In fact, it was equivalent to Tian Ci's doppelganger. Moreover, the energy of this body came from the roots of the Heavenly Origin Fortune Supreme Treasure in his body. Impressive. Wang Xian was not stingy with his compliments. "Hihi, Godfather, as long as I hold this divine wood, there is an attack range in my heart. Within this range, I can attack whoever I want, and the attack will be reduced instantly. Also, that clone of mine just now, I gave it the same root, because this is the power that comes from the roots. Now, I can use the roots to create a clone that is exactly the same as me, and it has the same strength as me. In fact, these doppelgangers, I feel like they are me. Now, I can create 3 doppelgangers, Tianzi said excitedly. In addition, Godfather, the same root also has an attack method. Similarly, there is an attack range in the same root. Within this range, I can let the roots enter the enemy's body, absorb their vitality, and even control the enemy's body. He continued to add, these 2 skills are very powerful. The power of the heavenly origin fortune supreme treasure is starting to show. Hearing this, Wang Xian was slightly surprised. It was indeed an attack-type heavenly origin fortune supreme treasure. It could create doppelgangers and create 3 doppelgangers with the same strength as itself. If it were to break through to the heavenly origin fortune supreme treasure and create 3 doppelgangers, it would be equivalent to 4 beginner heavenly origin fortune supreme treasure. As for the divine wood, it was also very powerful. Let me take a closer look. As Wang Xian spoke, the energy of the progenitor tree entered Tianzi's body. When the energy of the progenitor tree came into contact with the heavenly origin fortune supreme treasure, the divine tree was clearly elated. Speaking of which, Tianzi was raised by him. The divine tree in his body was also raised by the progenitor tree. Since young, it had been imbued with the energy of the progenitor tree. Otherwise, it would not have grown so quickly. The branches were wrapped around the energy of the progenitor tree, as though they were welcoming it. Using the energy of the progenitor tree, Wang Xian sensed the newly born divine wood and the roots below it. When he touched the roots, he felt the aura of the origin source. These roots were very important to this divine tree. In fact, they were the strongest part of this divine tree. This was the information that Wang Xian had obtained. Following which, a highly possible piece of information flashed across his mind, and his eyes lit up. Chapter 4134, Wang Xian sensed the Heaven Yuan creation treasure in Tianzi's body. He sensed the roots of the same origin. He had an idea in his mind. The usage of the same origin ability. According to Tianzi's words, as well as Wang Xian sensing with his energy, the same origin ability could enter a person's body and control him perfectly. It could absorb his vitality and make it a part of him. In that case, what would happen if Wang Xian allowed the roots to enter his body but did not attack him? Would Wang Xian be able to conceal his aura by 100% through these roots? Wang Xian's eyes sparkled. With a thought, a branch of the progenitor tree emerged from his palm. One of the branches entered Tianzi's body. It came to the root of the divine tree. Wang Xian allowed the branch of the progenitor tree to wrap around the root of the divine tree and sense the energy on it. Tianzi, use the same root growth ability on the branch that entered your body. Wang Xian tried but to no avail. This was because he couldn't control the divine tree in Tianzi's body. Yes, Godfather. Tianzi nodded. With a thought, he used the same origin ability. The roots in his body wrapped around the branch of the progenitor tree. The aura of the divine tree gushed towards the progenitor tree. The divine tree didn't attack the progenitor tree. When the energy entered the progenitor tree didn't resist either. Soon, the energy of the progenitor tree was covered by the same origin ability. The same origin ability gushed into Wang Xian's body. Soon, he squinted his eyes and revealed a tinge of excitement. He could feel that the suppression of the Six Paths universe on him was getting weaker and weaker. Gradually, the suppression disappeared completely. It was as though the entire Six Paths universe had treated him as a living being within the Six Paths universe. Wang Xian squinted his eyes and moved his palm. He guided the same origin ability towards the Qilin Bool beside him. One by one, the roots came before the Qilin Bool. Boss! The Qilin Bool didn't stop the roots from entering his body. He looked on in surprise. Wang Xian didn't explain. But soon, the Qilin Bool also revealed an excited look. Boss, I can feel it. The suppression of the Six Paths universe is gone. It's completely gone. Qilin Bul stared at Wang Xian with widened eyes. Wang Xian nodded his head. After hesitating for a moment, he moved his palm and a ball appeared in his hand. This sphere contained a terrifying amount of energy. It contained the energy of heaven's origin. However, the Six Paths universe did not attack him at all. The divine tree in Tian Xi's body is a heaven origin fortune treasure nurtured by the Six Paths universe. It belongs to the Six Paths universe, and the heaven origin fortune treasure's attack from the same root can completely control the opponent. The roots that are born from the same root will be controlled by the divine tree and become a part of it. Naturally, the Six Paths universe will not attack the divine tree. Wang Xian murmured as his eyes lit up. To Wang Xian, this was a great piece of news. This was because once Wang Xian and the rest could unleash their peak combat power, they wouldn't even need to fear the creation realm experts of the Six Paths universe. All along, Wang Xian wasn't worried that Tian Xi would be discovered by the creation realm experts from other universes. Rather, Wang Xian was worried that Tian Xi would be discovered by the creation realm experts of the Six Paths universe. Tian Xi was a living being of the Six Paths universe and was their disciple. However, Wang Xian wouldn't believe that they wouldn't be tempted by the creation realm experts of the Six Paths universe. If the creation realm experts of the Six Paths universe encountered Tian Xi, they might very well snatch away the creation realm experts of the Six Paths universe. This was what Wang Xian was most worried about. Once they discovered Tian Xi's situation, Wang Xian wouldn't be able to do anything to snatch the creation realm experts of the Six Paths universe away. It was impossible to resist. Now that they could remove the suppression from the Six Paths universe, Wang Xian could definitely protect Tian Xi within the Six Paths universe. As he pondered, the Five Elements grindstone and the Tai Chi dragon plate appeared in his hands. When the roots entered the Five Elements grindstone, the suppression from the Six Paths universe on the Five Elements grindstone soon disappeared. When it entered the Tai Chi dragon plate, the suppression from the Six Paths universe was also removed. This made Wang Xian reveal a satisfied look. "Godfather, what's wrong?" Tian Xi couldn't help but ask when he saw Wang Xian's expression. "Haha, it's nothing." Wang Xian laughed and didn't tell him the good news. "Next, focus on your cultivation and live a good life. Don't worry about anything. Even if the sky falls, I'll hold it up for you. When I'm successful in my cultivation, I'll hold it up for you even if the sky falls." Tian Xi promised Wang Xian heavily. "There's no hurry in your cultivation now. It'll be good enough if you can reach the creation realm in 200 to 300 million years. Focus on living." Wang Xian patted his head and said with a smile, "Yes, Godfather." Tian Xi nodded. "Godfather, I'll be heading to the Earth City of the Plains to participate in the Six Paths Conference. I'll probably be there for a few million years. Godfather, will you be going? You'll be there for a period of time. Of course, you'll have to go." Wang Xian nodded. Tian Xi was going to participate in the Six Paths Universe Martial Arts Conference. At that time, all the experts and supreme talents of the Six Paths universe would be participating. Not only would there be battles at the level of Tian Xi, but there would also be battles at the level of the Universe Dominator. Once they achieved a good ranking, they would be rewarded with a large number of treasures. The Six Paths Conference this time was jointly organized by 3 creation realm experts from the Six Paths universe. The treasures and resources that would be rewarded would be beyond everyone's imagination. In fact, if there were really talented ones, they would be groomed by the 3 creation realm experts. Yeah. Upon hearing Wang Xian, Tian Xi nodded his head heavily. His face was filled with joy. "Godfather, I'll call my mother. Let's go for a meal and have fun for 2 days." Tian Xi continued. Wang Xian smiled and nodded his head. Over the next few days, Wang Xian, Tian Xi, and the rest wandered around the Muley tribe. A month later, the Muley tribe was already preparing to lead the experts and disciples to the plains. Many experts and disciples of the Muley tribe would be participating in the Six Paths Conference. In fact, all the experts and disciples could participate in the Six Paths Conference. Arenas would be set up according to the age group. In the beginning, one would have to earn a ranking in the arenas. Only after obtaining a ranking could one participate in the Six Paths Conference. At that time, the experts and disciples of each age group and strength level would be competing officially. The pinnacle universe dominator realm experts would be the judges. The Six Paths Conference would last for millions of years. Chapter 4135, Godfather, over here. Muri tribe, in front of the main city. A group of experts and disciples from the Muri tribe floated in the air. There were tens of thousands of experts and disciples. Some of these experts and disciples were here to participate in the competition, while others were there to watch the fun. Tianci was standing with his mother and some elders. When he saw Wang Xian flying over, he waved excitedly. Wang Xian flew over and nodded at him. Young Master Wang Xian. Muri Yin greeted Wang Xian with a smile when she saw him. Wang Xian nodded back at her. Greetings, young Master Wang Xian. Greetings, young Master Wang Xian. Muri Yin-er's elder brothers greeted Wang Xian from the side. Wang Xian responded politely. Muri Yin-er knew that Wang Xian had the strength of a seventh-order universe sovereign. He also told this news to his family. After all, Tianci was growing day by day and had outstanding talent. His family valued him a lot. Naturally, they wanted to know more about his godfather. Muri Yin-er did not hide it and told her family directly. This caused his elder brother and parents to be filled with shock. At the same time, they understood something. Tianci's achievements and the Muri tribe's unseen genius in billions of years had a lot to do with his godfather. After all, Tianci had always been taught by his godfather. It was highly possible for a seventh-order universe sovereign to have such strength under the guidance of a seventh-order universe sovereign almost every day. As for a seventh-order universe sovereign, his strength was top-notch even in the Muri tribe. The only one who was stronger than him was the chief. This made them respect Wang Xian very much. In fact, they had some doubts in the beginning. Did Wang Xian get their sister, daughter, pregnant and purposely find a chance to get close to her? Otherwise, why would a seventh-order universe sovereign treat Tianci so well? But after observing for a long time, they knew that the possibility of this guess was very small. You must be young Master Wang Xian. Thank you for teaching Tianci. At the front, the few elders of the Muri tribe sized Wang Xian up and greeted him with a smile. Don't stand on ceremony, elders. Miss Muri Yin saved me before. It's just a small matter for me to teach Tianci, said Wang Xian to the elders of the Muri tribe with a smile. He was not surprised that the experts of the Muri tribe knew some of his strength. Come on, let's go. The elders smiled and nodded, and then the group flew off in a certain direction. What a surprise! At a spot not far away, more than a dozen girls were gathered together. They were looking in the direction of Wang Xian and Muri Yin-er, and their expressions were a little unpleasant. Wang Xian displayed the strength of a seventh-order universe sovereign. This made Muri Yin-er's life in the Muri tribe much better. Back then, when Muri Yin-er was pregnant with Tianci, it caused quite a stir in the entire Muri tribe. A woman's chastity was very important in the Muri tribe, especially when Muri Yin-er was suddenly pregnant. As the proud daughter of the Muri tribe, the most beautiful girl in the Muri tribe. Most importantly, at that time, the tribe's elder had intended to matchmake Muri Yin-er with the woman of another tribe's chief. At that time, even Muri Yin-er's father was very much in favor of this. But because Muri Yin-er was suddenly pregnant, she could only let it go. In fact, the tribe's elder was extremely dissatisfied. But with the rise of Tianci and the appearance of Wang Xian, the people in the tribe did not dare to mock Muri Yin-er anymore. They also did not dare to say that Tianci was a bastard. Godfather, have you been to the plains? Tianci stood beside Wang Xian and Muri Yin-er, and asked him with a little excitement. This was the first time Tianci had traveled far away from the water source. No. Wang Xian shook his head. What about you, mother? Tianci looked at his mother and asked with a smile. I have not been to the plains either. This time, we can take a stroll there. The plain city that we are going to is the most prosperous place in the entire plains. It's also the main city of the Xuantu tribe. Muri Yin shook her head too. In that case, we have to take a stroll there. Mother, why don't we take part in the 6 Dao meeting together? Mother, you are also very strong among your peers. Tianzi continued. Me? Speaking of which, if I take part in the competition, I'm only 1 level higher than you. But my strength is only 1 level higher than yours. This time, it's a competition between the supreme talents of the entire 6 Dao universe. I won't be able to make it. Tianzi, you still have a chance to get a good ranking. After all, you are not even 100 million years old. At your age, you are considered outstanding. Muri Yin shook her head and said to Tianzi with a smile. Mother, you are still young. If you take part, you can also get a good ranking, Tianzi said. The 3 of them chatted and hurried on their way. However, just as Wang Xian was following Tianzi towards the Earthen City, in the chaos at the edge of the 6 Dao universe, a figure exuding the power of light flew over. He looked at the place in front of him. In front of him, 6 figures were floating quietly in the air. When they saw the figure of light, their eyes lit up. Saint Encyclopedia, are you sure you know the location of the creation treasure of Qian Yuan? Among the 6, one of the figures also exuding the power of light asked Saint Encyclopedia. His eyes were filled with anticipation. Why should I tease you? The creation treasure of Qian Yuan of the 6 Dao universe doesn't exist somewhere, but in the body of a young man, and there are 2 creation realm experts guarding the body of that young man. I wonder why they didn't take it away. Saint Encyclopedia looked at them and said directly, if we get the creation treasure of Qian Yuan, how are the 7 of us going to split it? A divine origin creation stage powerhouse asked with a glint in his eyes. I can sense it. That heavenly origin good fortune treasure is wood attributed. Wood attributed heavenly origin good fortune treasures can split off a few branches. The treasure belongs to me, but I guarantee that you will be satisfied with the compensation. Saint Encyclopedia looked at them and said. The 6 figures hesitated for a moment before nodding slowly. It was unrealistic for 7 figures to split a creation treasure of Qian Yuan among themselves. Since Saint Encyclopedia knew about this, he naturally wouldn't give up on the creation treasure of Qian Yuan. However, if it was a creation divine tree of Qian Yuan, it would be easier to split it. As for whether there would be a dispute between them, that would have to wait until they got the treasure. At the very least, they had to come to an agreement.